Let's take a look at some DeFi charts. It's DeFi Wednesday. We'll start off by looking at the Bitcoin dominance, which when below the 200-day moving average is alt season. When above the 200-day moving average is Bitcoin season. We are currently riding that 200-day moving average. You can see throughout June to August, Bitcoin dominance declined significantly, and now that's bounced back and declined again. So there's a mini alt season here going on. I think many people see that and feel that and are watching that and trading that. If you look at the DeFi perp index on FTX, there isn't anything that sticks out to me here as far as massively bullish or bearish. Just so far, it's just been a story of divergences. We've had a bull div pop up, a bear div pop down, just as expected. Right now, it's probably just going to hit all of this support resistance level previously. As far as what's going on trend-wise, there's nothing that really sticks out to me here, other than there's clearly volume popping up here and then disappearing into nothingness. So that may affect this specific product on FTX. Starting with Link USD, all these charts are going to be in USD. Most of them will have a 200 period moving average, just because I like high time frame EMAs. This one in particular, Link, is the only one with a multi-year bullish pitchfork. Just the gold standard for what you'd expect out of a bull trend. Pick 3 points. If they match the price, the expectation is that rate of change will continue so long as price remains inside of the pitchfork. You can see it gets above, it gets below, it gets above again, but ultimately it is riding this yellow line, the median line, the most I've ever seen out of any chart anywhere. Like, it's eerily textbook how it is riding this median line so closely all the way up over multiple months. It's crazy, right? Above the 200, above R5 yearly pivots. So all this looks bullish. It's just not going to be as explosive as some of these other charts may be, but it's definitely the safest play. If you're going along something, but since 2018, it's been Link. So keep that in mind when I'm looking at the hourly chart on AAVE USDT, where anything can happen between now and next week. Whereas, you'd feel safe in Link from here to next week, because it's probably going to just be on that yellow line. AAVE looks good though. The chart got reset because they changed the ticker, so it's hard to really compare what's going on here. It looks like it's an all-time highs, but it's not really. It's above all this volume for Binance when they reset the ticker. So all this looks incredibly bullish, and is, but it's just probably not as bullish if we had the entire charting history. But this is definitely one of the most bullish charts I'll look at in this video today. There's kind of a tale of two cities. It's mega bullish, neutral, leaning heavily bullish, and then just stuff that needs more time, and it shouldn't be traded right now, in my opinion. Uni looks good on the 6 hour here. Looks good for $5. That's the next level up on VPVR. It's above the cloud. It's above the 200. Trend says it looks great. SNX also looks good. I don't know how explosive it's going to be to the upside. There's a risk for head and shoulders here if this current level gets denied. But if it makes higher highs, it's going to hit 620. And then from there, it's probably going to hit 1112 based on the 1.618 measured move from the previous high and low. This was a falling wedge, broke up, and it's just making its journey to those new levels. Volume needs to pick up though. It's a bit concerning that KuCoin, it looks like, I don't know what this looks like. It looks like there's no volume, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of volume, and there's no volume, and a bunch of volume. I wouldn't trust this exchange. I wouldn't trade it on this exchange, but I'm charting it here because it has the most chart history. Looking at UMA, this is one of those neutral, why would you trade this over Uni, right? Like, there's clearly bullish wins here, whereas UMA, it is snaking in and out of the 200-day moving average. It's stuck in VPVR hell of support resistance, kind of being priced where it should be. So there's no trade here for me versus all these other charts. YFI looks incredibly strong on the 4 hour. I think I talked about last week, the edge to edge and the possibility of pulling back above the cloud. This is a bullish DK recross above the cloud. So this should make higher highs. It should continue, bullish continuation. It looks good. It's awkward because it's 31K or whatever, and there's no coins available. But Price-wise, it looks good. Trend-wise, it looks good. Where it sits relative to all-time highs looks good. But I'd watch for the formation of another bearish reversal pattern eventually. It's too early to tell what this might be. This could be another macro inverted or another macro head and shoulders, but it's going to need a couple months to figure that out. But trend-wise, it looks really good. Comp, this is one of those UMA cases where it's neutral, bearish. No reason to trade this right now. There's a massive down candle the other day, but this is a no trade for me. Trend-wise, Ren is neutral bullish, setting up for potentially new all-time highs, just like SNX. Really just multi-month triangle here. This could get explosive just because of the duration it's consolidated at. And there's really, again, it's going to go into price discovery, right? So there's no upside resistance beyond the current all-time high around 50 cents. Serum, kind of like Uni, where it's bullish, leaning bullish out of neutral. So there's probably a decent trade here, but it's pretty clear that the resistance is at $1.30. If it can get above $1.30, I do like about $1.60, $1.70, just based on VPVR. I don't really care what's going on over here because I can see it all right here on VPVR. This is where all the volume was, at around 160, 175. Band looks very good as well on the neutral bullish side. I've been talking about this one for weeks. Inverted head and shoulders, bullish Kumo breakout. It's above the 200, snaking in and out. So this looks like a trade setup to me for the bull side, especially if it can hold above 589. I really like 8, 9, 10 levels for upside in the near term. DOT is interesting in that it's got this clear curvature that looks like a cup and handle situation. And if you measure that out just from high to low, we're talking about 8, 9, 10 bucks as far as a DOT target. It is the 4 hour, so anything can happen fairly quickly as far as downside or upside, but seeing this curvature is typical of bullish continuation. If you see the opposite curvature, it's typically bearish continuation. Kava, similar to Band, looks very good for upside. This is a 2x minimum based on edge-to-edge trade. So the principle here is if price can break into the cloud resistance, it will typically return to the other edge of the cloud, and this is just some 50% fib from high to low, up here around 350, 330. So this looks really good for up, better than some of these other charts, UMA, comp. I would wait for a break into the cloud for a trade entry, and that'll probably be a break of the 200 as well. But overall, looks good for bullish reversal. Sushi, incredibly strong, just like YFI. You're getting breaks of the local highs. You're getting bullish TK recross, Kumo breakout. All this looks like bullish continuation. You had this head and shoulder fake out, and as soon as it gets above the right shoulder, it typically means instead of bearish reversal, it's going to be strong bullish continuation. So if you ever get a bearish pattern like this that is about to complete or completes and then goes above the right shoulder, now this is a messy head and shoulders, right? But there's a clear declining volume profile here. So the argument is strong in my mind because of the volume profile. But anyway, you got your head and shoulders and broke above. So the trade was around $1.40, if you're watching this for upside. Right now I'd be watching for bids around $1.60, $1.70, whatever the key June is here. But all this looks like bullish continuation, just like YFI. Wing looks like neutral bullish. It's about to break out. I don't know anything about it, but technicals look good for a move, strong move to the upside, maybe to 20. So maybe a 2x from here based on VPVR levels. Pcrx, much like DOT, again has this cup and handle situation where it looks like it's headed to 50, 60 cents. It is bullish neutral, above the cloud, above the 200, kind of is all been reset. So it looks ready for a move there. MTA, kind of bearish neutral, below the cloud, below the 200. Again, why would you trade this over, why would you take a stab at MTA right now over BZRX or Wing or Sushi or Kava? You just wouldn't, which is one of the reasons why you do something like this activity, scanning activity. You look at a sector, you say, which ones look good? Which ones look okay? Which ones are ready for an entry? Which ones do I avoid? And it helps the rotation game. Because you can make your money in Sushi, rotate it into something that looks like a dumpster fire like MTA, it doesn't look like a dumpster fire, but you get my point. You can rotate it into something that hasn't moved yet. Then lastly, BNT, again, very similar to Kava. Looks good for an edge-to-edge move to $1.60, $1.70 VPVR level. Connects with that as well. This may get a macro inverted head and shoulders leading into 2021. You know, it had an inverted head and shoulders attempt here and kind of failed. And it's still printing these lows that are reminiscent of a head and shoulders bullish reversal here. So overall, there are a few stinkers, but you know, most of these I looked at look really good in one way or the other. Not UMA, but either are on their way for bullish continuation, or look like they're ready to break out. They're on the cusp, like Ren. I mean, the coiling here is impressive for a quote-unquote DeFi token. So definitely some good setups this week for the long side.